Hey guys, it's Thomas Palaskis here. We're continuing our series interviewing with superstars, and we're trying to keep it as local as possible, try to get it right in your backyard in the Antelope Valley. We're sitting down with high-minded people who have succeeded before us, who have failed before us, and have come through struggles and have just made it out shining. So today we're sitting with one of my mentors who I'm absolutely thrilled to interview with today. His name is Sam Roffe. Thanks for being with us, Sam.
Thank you, Thomas.
Sam is the broker owner of Keller Williams in Palmdale. He's also has ownership in several other offices. He's a multimillionaire. He's a father, and he's a mentor to me, like I said, and mentor to many other people too, right? He also has a huge portfolio, I believe, right, of properties. He's bought and sold, flipped. He's an entrepreneur and investor. So this is someone who I really look up to a lot, admire, and I'm thrilled to definitely get some more information from him.
Thank you for the...
Before we get into everything, I want to ask you, what is your favorite food?
Lebanese food. Since I'm originally from Lebanon, Lebanese food is my favorite.
Awesome. You like Lebanese
so
food?
There's always hummus in my house.
Hummus, yeah, I love hummus. Yeah, definitely. So Lebanese food, is there a particular dish that you like the most?
The salad, which is called tabbouleh,
yes.
So it's a good salad.
Yes.
And it's healthy.
Yes.
And it's good for you. So I tend to eat it quite a bit.
Awesome. So that's great. Tell me a little bit about your life and your journey before you got into real estate. What were you doing before your real estate? You can go back as far as you want.
Well, I was working at a company that I did quality control. And during my employment there, I saw that there is a trend of cutting, slashing employment in that company.
Got it.
So I figured eventually it's going to be my turn. So I was thinking about what's my next move and what am I going to do next if they say, well, we don't need you anymore.
Right, okay.
So
strategy.
At that time, I got my real estate license and I started dabbling into the real estate business.
Awesome.
And then it was a part-time and then it became full-time.
So you were with another company who you saw they were doing layoffs and getting rid of people, and then you were like, hey, I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And do some...
And I didn't want to put my future in somebody else's hands. So I thought real estate would be a great career. It's a great business to be in, and you can fly as high as you want to be, or you can stay as local and low as you want to be.
Awesome.
So where do you want to go with real estate? It's all up to you.
Right.
And I saw a huge potential in that industry, and that's why I chose real estate.
Absolutely.
And it was a good move.
What was the deciding factor? Because real estate is a big field, and there's so many possibilities. What helped you make the decision, or what motivated you to choose real estate over other fields?
When I looked at the possibilities in the real estate industry, from owning real estate to investing in real estate and flipping and selling and all of those combined, I thought there was a lot of opportunities in the real estate business. And if you look at all of most of the wealthy people, they own real estate.
Right.
So God's made certain limit of real estate and it's not going to make any more. So take advantage.
So definitely everyone needs a home, right?
Everybody needs a home.
That's a great way to make that decision.
Everybody needs a roof over their head.
Yeah. What was a defining moment in your life? Tell me something, maybe a failure, or it could have just been, what caused you to change? Some people hit rock bottom before they change, but what do you say was a defining moment in your life?
I hit rock bottom before I changed also.
Got it.
In reality, when I used to work for the company before, as a quality control inspector, I could not make ends meet, and we were living check to check, and sometimes we worried about paying the mortgage. As a matter of fact, there were times that we were really struggling and had to borrow on our credit cards to be able to pay the mortgage. And also one time, we used to cut coupons, when we went to buy grocery.
Right.
And one time my son grabbed a box of cereal.
Right.
And I said, put it back because I don't have a coupon for it.
Right.
So at that time I said, what kind of father am I if I could not afford a box of cereal for my kids.
Right.
And even when we went to restaurants, we went to fast food restaurants, and the dollar menu was our only option when we went to buy food. And that's when we treated ourselves. So we looked at the dollar menu, and that's how we picked our meal.
So at this point, you already had a family, you already had kids,
Yeah.
and it was just burning inside of you that you couldn't give them more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There was a defining moment when my son grabbed a box of cereal,
Right.
and I said, "Put it back." I said, "What kind of father am I?" I said, "This has got to change." And
Right.
at that time, I made a commitment that this is gonna change.
This is good. And that's when your life started to change, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, my friends used to come over with their nice cars, nice dressy brand clothes, and unfortunately, we were unable to do the same.
Got it.
And you got to look within and say, what's wrong with me? How come they could and I can't?
Right, exactly.
What do they have that I don't have? What God gave them that did not give me? So in reality, the problem was within. So you had to change from the inside in order for the outside to change.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. So you found the problem within and you changed yourself to change the outcome as well.
True.
I love that. So what was one of your first biggest investments?
I remember buying my first house. It was listed for $29,000, and the agent that had it listed, I said, "Listen, I want to make an offer on this house." He says, "Well, I have another offer." I said, "This would be my first investment, and I would really appreciate it if you could help me get it." So he says, "You got to go over listed price."
Oh, okay.
So I went to 32,000. And I said, "Please help me get it, and I'm not going to forget you for the rest of my life because this is my very first investment." Sure enough, he made sure I got that. He helped me get it. Although my bid was higher, it's not like he threw the
right,
away.
exactly.
I mean, he's ethical,
Yeah.
and I still remember that agent until this day.
Awesome. So that first house that you bought, or that first investment, that was a house that you decided to rent out, or what did you do with that first?
Well, I bought it and I flipped it.
Okay.
I fixed it and then we sold it.
Flipped it.
And
Gotcha.
it was a great return on that investment. So I said, "Man, this is the right way to go," because that's how you can build wealth. Is by owning, flipping, and owning and keeping.
Right.
And real estate, that's a great vehicle to take you to build wealth and to be financially free, because you could use the law of leverage.
Right.
You're using other people's money. You're using the bank's money.
So then you didn't buy that cash?
I did not buy cash.
You used
I
that
borrowed the money, by the way, on the first transaction, because it was such a small transaction. I borrowed the money on my credit cards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was small,
Awesome.
so yeah. But at that time, my credit cards, they were charging me like 20%.
Right. So you had to turn it around pretty quick.
That's true.
And so you bought your first investment before you were even in real estate, as far as in real estate
I was a part-time agent.
Part-time agent.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then tell me about, was there any fear involved in that? What are the feelings that were going through your body? You're about to, you don't even have the money, you're using your credit cards, and that means debt. That means, hey, what are the fears? You could, maybe it doesn't work, now you're in a hole of debt. What was going through your mind, and what did you do to push yourself to actually
Good question. The biggest fear is when you don't know. But when you're an expert, or and you studied the investment, it's not fear anymore. When the offer is accepted, you go and celebrate.
Right.
Because you've done your homework, you know the value of this property, you know what it's going to take to fix it up, and you know how much you could sell it for. In reality, there should not be fear, there should be celebration.
Got it.
But if you don't know what you're doing and you're not sure about the value, you're not sure about how much you could sell it for, then you're going to be afraid. Am I making the right move? Is this the right decision? Am I going to be able to sell it? Am I going to be able to make profits? Because you're really guessing. And when you're guessing, there is fear. But if you're confident about what you're doing, then there should not be any fear.
Awesome. And I love doing these interviews because I'm taking so much from it, because when I bought my first properties, and it was probably a no-brainer, but for me, I was terrified.
Yeah.
For me, I did save up some money, and it was all the money I had to put into a property, so I'm like, I hope everything turns out okay,
Yeah.
But that's probably because I wasn't confident, because maybe I wasn't researching enough. Maybe I didn't do enough studying or educating myself enough. Maybe that's why I had that fear.
Yeah.
So I love that. I want to go into transactions.
But when you are in the bottom, what are you afraid of? You're in the bottom already.
Right.
So what are you afraid of?
Where you go?
This is as low as you can go.
As low as you can
So, how far you can go.
Exactly.
So the only way, the thing that is going to happen to you, you're going to go up.
Right.
There is a little bit, tiny bit of fear, but it's not compared to the reward,
Compared
the
to
fear
the
is
reward.
minimal.
Right, exactly. You know, I was more afraid of not buying a property. You know, the fear of what's going to happen in my life if I don't make an investment is more terrifying than the fear of, okay, I'm going to put my money into this.
True. And as a, you know, we all, as we make more money, we tend to spoil ourselves, spoil our kids, and pay taxes. So by the time all of those take place, you really are, you know, you're left with nothing, pretty much.
Right.
So the investments is what's going to show up in the future.
Got it.
And if you don't invest, because we're spenders.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of reasons to spend money, to buy a nicer house, to buy a boat, to buy. But if you don't invest, really, you're just making money and spending money. So you're on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere.
And Sam, you're a really productive person, and that's one thing that I've always admired about you. You show up, and you always seem so focused. So one of my questions is, how do you stay productive?
Number one, you have to set a goal. And that goal, you have to be passionate about your goal. And if you're passionate about your goal, the goal is driving you, really.
Right.
So I wake up early. I wake up at 5 o'clock, a little bit before, a little bit after every day.
Okay.
So, I told my friends, I wake up so early, And they start asking me, said, why do you wake up so early? I said to them, if you are going to where I'm going, you would be waking up early too. Because I know where I'm going, and that goal is so attractive.
Right.
So I wake up in the morning and I'm excited about my day.
Yes.
And I'm excited about my goal. And I'm excited about the achievements. And I'm excited about the things that I have to make. Because those things are going to bring me closer to my goal. So when the goal is pulling you toward it, you wake up with a full excitement.
Right.
And with full energy.
Love it. What does your day actually look like? So you wake up early at 5 or somewhere around 5. And then where do you go from there? What does that morning look like? Because there's a lot of people that have those power mornings that get them going.
Well, of course, I have a little bit of a ritual. I know, I know myself. I know where I'm going.
Right.
But what I look at, what are my big rocks for the day? What are the things that I'm supposed to do today?
Okay.
That's going to bring me closer to my goal. The rest of the stuff is really, I push it toward my assistant and have her take care of them. And unless she has a question, then she call me.
Right.
But once you prioritize and make sure that the small stuff don't get in the way of the big stuff, you're on the right path.
Okay.
And a lot of times, the things that scream the most are not necessarily the most important things.
Right. Yes.
So you gotta am I doing the right thing that's gonna bring me closer to my goal?
Got it. Defining the difference between things that are urgent and important.
Correct.
Picking up the big rocks.
Correct.
Delegate the other things.
I'm a master of.
You're a master delegator. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I love the way you start your day. Tell me a little bit about how you finish your day. Is it like with family? Do you read a book? What do you do to kind of mellow out and just finish off?
I do read in the morning 10 to 20 pages. And in the evening, I don't read. I just spend it with family, with my wife and my kids, and I'm like chilling.
Chilling, hanging out with family.
I've done what I've done. Just now, it's time to relax.
Awesome. I love that. Before Keller Williams, you were an agent with Century 21.
Correct.
And what drove you and helped you decide to open up a Keller Williams and be a broker of the Keller Williams brand in Palmdale?
I'm the type that gets bored of doing the same thing.
Yes.
Eventually, if it's too redundant, it's just like it does not excite me anymore. I want something a little bit more challenging and a little bit more that drives me a little bit more, because I've done this. I know I could do it. I know I could, meet with a buyer and sell a house. I know I can meet with a seller and list a house.
Right.
So these things were not exciting for me anymore.
Got it. So
my next move was to open my own office. I tried to have ownership in the office that I was with, and of course that was not an option. So I figured, you know what, my only option is really to open my real estate company.
Okay.
So because I was with a franchise company, I thought I'd open my own brand, call it Rafeh Realty.
Right.
And I said, well, there's 3 types of people: the smart guy, the wise guy, and the idiot. So where do I want to be? The wise guy is the one that makes the mistake, pays for the mistake, and learns from the mistake. And the smart guy is the one that learns from somebody else's mistakes, so they don't have to make the mistake themselves.
Right.
Or the idiot that they don't learn from their own mistakes or the mistakes of others.
Right.
I said, I want to be a smart guy, I don't want to be a wise guy. So buying a franchise would be a smart thing to do,
Right.
because in reality you're learning and you're provided with systems and models.
What was it about Keller Williams that really caught your eye and made you say, hey, that's the brand I want to represent?
It's the training and education that they live by. And Gary Keller wrote a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and
Right.
it's focused on agent success and growth.
Right.
So I thought that's the company that would be the best suited for agents and for what I believe in. Also, it's a profit-sharing company.
Okay.
And it takes a very unselfish broker to say, you know what, I'm going to share my profits with my agents. When I read more about and found out more and more about Keller Williams, we were pretty much a match.
Oh, okay.
And I thought
Perfect.
it would be a great company, not just for me, for agents to join.
You started the first one in Palmdale. You exploded. You definitely took over the Antelope Valley. It's right now the #1 market center in the AV, and by far.
Hang on.
How many more Keller Williams offices do you have ownership in?
Well, I had ownership in a couple of other offices that I sold them, and now I have ownership in one other office and small ownership in one more office. And, you know, to have ownership, you can have ownership through sweat equity. So you can build wealth through sweat equity. So a couple of offices that I am part of, and I will have ownership in them based on performance. So if you achieve a certain level of reach a certain level of production, you will have ownership in those offices as well.
Well, awesome. That's another great.
Yeah, and it gives me pleasure to be part of an office that I can fix it and build it to where it needs to be.
I love that. I love that. What does your portfolio look like right now?
Houses, apartments.
Oh wow.
Storage units, and I have invested in other businesses as well.
Do you know about how many units that you have in your portfolio right now as far as rental properties besides the storage facility?
Close to 30.
With storage units, what do you think about that? Do you like that business?
The beauty of storage units is that you don't need to deal much with evictions, and you don't need to deal with repairs and people's lives and people's emotions and families and kids, and you're dealing with stuff that people leave in a storage unit. So, and it's easier to collect the money or the rent on those storage units than sometimes on apartment buildings. That, if somebody doesn't pay that, you would have to evict.
Right.
So I felt like it's a great business to be in, and it's rewarding as well.
What's your formula that lets you know when, hey, this is a great property to buy and hold, this is a great property to buy and flip? How do you obtain that confidence? What's your formula?
Well, one thing for sure, as a realtor, you understand value of real estate. And when you buy a property at full market value, doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Right.
I mean, anybody can throw an offer and buy it at full market value, and that doesn't take a genius to do so, right? It's how you can find a property that you can modify it, fix it, make changes to it, and increase the value of that property.
Got it.
And when you start thinking of yourself as an investor, those opportunities starts to show up. And the more you educate yourself financially, you become more aware, oh yeah, this is a great deal, this makes sense, oh yeah, this does not make sense at all.
Got it.
So when you start looking at all of those, and the more you educate yourself, the more you can find those opportunities, and the more you can evaluate those opportunities and see if it makes sense or does not make sense.
Got it. I know being an investor myself, sometimes finding those properties can be a full-time job. How do you find the value out there without buying a market value?
Well, I mean, you gotta the wider the net, the more opportunities you will have coming your way. So you gotta tell a lot of people that you are an investor.
Okay.
Even one at a time that let's say you bought a property and right now you're cashless.
Right.
So because you already bought an investment and that's all you can afford. You got to tell other people that you are an investor so they can bring you, and you tell them what you're looking for and what's your criteria. So when they find one, they will send it. When you're thinking of yourself, you are an investor, your mind shifts.
Oh, okay.
I was in a office meeting in Palos Verdes, and a lady, she was pitching her listing. She just listed, and she said that this property is on. They have foundation problems, and they listed it accordingly. So the minute she said we have foundation problems, a light went out immediately. That that means I'm going to get this property for a good price.
Right.
I fix the problem.
Right.
And I get paid for that problem. I can increase my profits, and I can sell it for full market value once that problem is cured.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So as an investor, when you have your investor's hat on all the time, you know, when you hear of verbiage like this, it immediately flashes a light in your head. It's like, oh, this is an opportunity. It doesn't mean that every time you hear about a property that's you're going to buy it.
Right.
You know, so with that, you will see these things, and the more you think of yourself as an investor, the more you see opportunities.
The more opportunities you'll see. So once you're wearing that investor hat, once you believe in yourself as an investor, your eyes will open to the opportunity. Because that opportunity sounds like it was there for a whole room.
Absolutely.
But the lights went off in the investor's
and nobody
heads.
mentioned anything to her except myself.
Got it.
Right?
Wow.
I remember one time we went to an office meeting for the entire office. Probably 200 realtors were at that meeting. And as we were driving in, I saw a house that was beat up. Right? So there was another realtor sitting next to me. I said, listen, check on this property. I would like to buy it. So as we were coming back, we looked through the windows, and we took the address. He contacted the owner. The owner happened to be an attorney that wanted to sell it. And the property was very beat up.
Got it.
So on that property, we made, let's say, $45,000.
Wow.
Right? So that office meeting paid me $45,000.
Wow.
And by the way, 200 realtors drove by and did not see it.
Wow.
And that's what's amazing, because they did not think of themselves as investors.
If you or anyone you know has a property in Southern California that needs to be sold, and it might be a good opportunity for an investor again, Sam and myself would be interested to take a look at that.
Yeah, or if you're being foreclosed on, let us know and we can help you.
So as an entrepreneur, what is one habit that you would recommend for someone else to have? What is a habit that's good for an entrepreneur to become successful?
Be okay with being uncomfortable.
I like that.
Because if you only do the comfortable things in life, life will be hard.
Yes.
But if you do what's uncomfortable, life will be comfortable. So if you're stretching yourself, be okay with that. It's all right. If you're working hard, don't feel sorry for yourself. Just be proud.
Right.
If you're doing things that other people are not doing, you're going to get the results that they're not getting.
Not getting, right.
So just be okay by being uncomfortable, and stretch yourself and get out of your comfort zone, because that's when growth happens.
Right.
It's outside of your comfort zone.
Exactly. And that's when I have kids and I see they're trying to read. And they get so frustrated, or they're trying to do multiplication or whatever it is. And they get frustrated and uncomfortable. Yeah. And I always tell them, that's when you're learning. Yeah. You're uncomfortable. Absolutely. Stretch that. Stay in that uncomfortability, because soon enough, that's going to make that easy. Sure. That thing that feels uncomfortable will be easy. Sure.
One time, my kids used to play soccer, and they lose. Right? And we stood, all the parents, stand in line, and great job, high-fiving the kids. For a great job. And I'm like, why are we high-fiving if they lost? I said, you did okay, next time do better. Yeah. So I could not celebrate losing, So but it's interesting how a lot of us celebrate mediocrity.
Right.
And mediocrity is acceptable in our society. Unfortunately, you cannot succeed at a high level if you do mediocre performance.
Yes. I mean, I want to encourage my children, but I want to give them the right kind of encouragement. I don't want to encourage them to lose.
Sure.
No, never. Sure. No, I want to encourage them to win. And go after things and try harder. In your business, what is rewarding to you? What makes you feel rewarded?
That's a great question. It gives me the greatest reward is when I see our agents are achieving success, building financial wealth for themselves and for their families. That gives me the greatest reward. And that's one of the reasons I opened a real estate company, because I wanted to see agents succeed at a higher level. Because as a realtor, you don't have a 401k. You got to build your 401k. You have a great weapon, which is real estate knowledge. Take advantage of it and use it and buy into what you know.
Right.
Instead of, investing in the stock market that you have no clue about, and how those companies are ran. When you buy real estate, you are in control. You know the value. You know how much you could sell it for. So you are the expert and invest in what you know most.
Right. I love that.
It gives me the greatest pleasure, and really that gives me the glory of being a broker, because I can affect other people's lives. I can educate other people. I can show them the path. But at the end, they have to do it themselves.
Right. I love that. Tell me about a time in your life, and hopefully you can think of one, where you failed, or it was a difficult time where you just felt like you couldn't do it. I've had a lot of times where I said, hey, I'm not a good realtor. I said that to myself. Maybe I'm just not a good realtor. And I felt like a failure. But obviously, I didn't quit,
Yeah.
So tell me about a time where you feel that you may have failed or weren't good enough, and how did you overcome it?
We're all vulnerable at one time or another.
Right.
And sometimes we, at a low moment in our life, we say, you know what, maybe I'm not the right person for this.
Right.
Maybe I should not have tried this.
Right.
This is too much. And then you wake up in the morning and you say, you know what, yeah, I know I can do it. I know it can be done. And I know I can succeed at it. And the more you energize and motivate yourself, the more you succeed. And I remember one time I read a book, it's called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Al Mandino. It was like a $5 or $6 book. In reality, when I read that book, if you handed me $50,000 in cash or that book has done me more good than $50,000 would have. Because I felt that the author is writing about Sam. And at the beginning of the book, he has one page, it says, I will persist until I succeed. I was not born into this world in defeat, nor does failure courses in my veins.
Wow.
I am not a sheep waiting to be prodded by the shepherd. I am a lion, and I refuse to walk, to talk, to sleep with the sheep.
Wow.
The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. I will persist until I succeed.
Wow.
So with that, I made sure that persistence is my friend.
I love that.
And you persist until you succeed. Don't let anything get in your way.
It sounds like you took those words and ingrained it into your life.
Absolutely.
And you made it a part of you.
And I remember it, I read it, internalized it, I memorized it. It's part of me.
It's part of you, right?
Yeah.
It's not just memorized, it is you.
Yeah, and it's an amazing book. I would recommend it.
If you were to start again, you're Sam now, here you are, 2018, the new year. But if you were to start over, what would you change? What would you do differently?
Great question. I will set my goals a little bit higher. I would use leverage, and I'm talking about leverage other people's money on a higher level.
Got it.
Especially knowing what I knew, that the real estate market was going to change. So I was expecting it to happen, but I could have used other people's money, benefited them and benefited myself in a far bigger way than the way I did it.
Awesome. So you still are using other people's money. And right now,
you have to.
Do you have different techniques of doing that? Are you mostly going to banks, or do you syndicate? What are your different processes?
Syndication would be an option. Unfortunately, in the 2007, 2008, I was planning to do a syndication. My attorney scared me about this process, but I think my attorney was wrong. I should have done it, and it would have been multi-million-dollar investment.
Wow.
Yeah, syndication is the right thing to do.
I love that you brought that up because, I ask you, what has happened in your past, and because we want to learn from you. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We just got a huge nugget right now that you said in the past you wanted to syndicate, you didn't, and hey, that was probably the right path to take to syndicate.
Yes. You've got to leverage. If you don't leverage other people's money, you have so much cash. I mean, you and I, we know. You can buy 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, and okay, you're out of cash.
Right.
Now, if you use other people's money with that 2, 3, 4, 5 houses that you could have bought, now you own 10.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So that's the difference.
Right.
So and when the market is going up, it's going up on
10 homes instead of
3 or 4 or 5.
Exactly.
So yeah, other people's money is the right path and the faster path to accumulate wealth.
Awesome. How do you bring your ideas to life?
So once you have a goal, the ideas behind your goal start coming to life. And if you believe that this is a great idea, this could be beneficial, then you act on it. Not necessarily every time you have an idea, it's going to come to fruition and it's going to be successful.
Right. Okay.
Some ideas you bring to life that, it didn't work, and then you put another idea in its place.
Right.
Okay. So based on your goal, you set your ideas and you set your plan of action behind it.
Got it. So it sounds like you make a goal.
Yeah.
You make a plan.
Let's start with a goal.
Right. And then you have a plan to execute. Okay.
If you have an idea and you don't have a goal, that idea is gonna go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of ink. It's a waste of time.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Got it.
So and a lot of people, they have ideas, but they don't have a goal behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a goal for that idea, or they don't have a goal themselves, and they just the idea falls on the sideline.
Exactly. Who in your life has influenced you to help you to be successful and achieve your goals?
That's a great question because I'm sure a lot of people have heard it. You are the average of your friends. Who you are your friends, you're going to be the average of those that you surround yourself with. Fortunately, I surrounded myself with a lot of business people, business-minded individuals.
Got it.
Like I shared with you in the beginning, when my friends used to come and visit us, they have nice cars, nice clothes, lived in nice houses, took nice vacations. They were business people.
Got it.
Right? So I learned that from them, that in order for me to grow, I have to become a businessman myself.
Got it.
And have a great business attitude. So if you surround yourself with great people, you're going to be the average of those people. And as a matter of fact, a friend of mine, I used to eat meat and what have you, and I was not I didn't pay attention to the food that I ate.
Okay.
Going with that friend multiple times to restaurants, and when he ate only healthy food, and he was careful about what he puts in his body, I said, man, look at him. So he influenced me indirectly. Indirectly, he influenced me, and I changed my diet.
I love it. You just put yourself around the people that are making actions on their own. And I love it because people tell me I'm living my life. But people call me all the time and say, Thomas, you've influenced me to do this.
Yeah.
You've influenced me to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Just by being around me, just by seeing me.
Absolutely.
And that's what you've done too. And that's why I get to hang around you.
Thank you.
That's why I want to be around you. We know your vision and your thoughts are huge. Okay, and we want to get into your head a little bit more. What is your vision for 2018?
Everyone is excited about 2018. Everyone I talk to in the office, they're excited about 2018. They're excited, but that excitement today fizzles a month or 2 months from today.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, that excitement fades away because they did not have a goal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I don't know what happened to people. They're excited at the beginning of the year, and then they don't achieve their goals.
Right.
2018 for me, the reason I'm saying that I'm so excited about 2018, because it will be the year that I would reach my ultimate goal financially.
Any other things in mind? So you're about to hit your goal. The vision that you've had in the past is coming to fruition. Now, obviously, it sounds like you're probably, after you hit this goal, you're going to set another goal, possibly.
My goal for my agents has been the same since we started the company, to see 10% of our agents have financial freedom, and being able to build wealth for themselves and for their families. Because you know what? Time waits on no one. You know, you're going to get older.
Right.
You're going to want to retire.
Right.
You're not going to be able to work when you're in your 60s as much as you could have worked in your 40s.
Right.
And you have, you know, I'm sure you've heard it, pay now and play later, or play now and pay later, but if you pay later, you're going to pay with interest. There is no a microwavable success unless you hit the lottery, and good luck hitting the lottery. So you have to be able to pay the price and be willing and excited about paying the price, because you're going to see the rewards at the end, and that's what should be exciting and fulfilling for you.
Right.
Because one day you could say, you know what, I only work for fun.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
So and that makes a big difference.
Right. I love that. And that's where I want to be.
Yes, and you know, you're on the right path.
Thanks.
And congratulations, and I'm super proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
the success that you've been having.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. And it is, a lot of it is because, like you said, you want to see 10%, at least 10% of your offices have that financial freedom and, you know, be successful in that way. And so I've definitely looked at that, and that has been an encouragement to me to get there as well. And even sitting down here with you right now is like, okay, I have another milestone to reach. I have another goal that I have to hit. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. instead of sleeping until 6.
Yeah.
I know, you know, some people say 6 o'clock, you know, that's early, but no, that's not that early.
Yeah.
That's late. I'm an hour behind.
Yeah.
You know, I got to get in those mentality.
Absolutely.
These are the things I have to do. What advice do you have for maybe new business owners, maybe new investors, or maybe someone who's looking to get into real estate? What advice would you give them that are looking to start, to have that financial freedom and things like that? What advice do you have?
You've got to set goals. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm sure we've heard it a million times. Without a goal, it's like water. You know, you take the easy path, right? And if you take the easy path, you're going to end up in the ocean with billions and trillions of gallons of water that is like everybody else. But if you have a goal and you have passion behind your goal, and you put a plan behind your goal and measure your progress on a monthly basis and enjoy the progress that you are making and celebrate it, it makes all the difference in the world. And don't be so quick in rewarding yourself. When you achieve a little bit of success, we immediately want to reward ourselves.
Right.
Be patient.
Patient.
It's going to happen. You can reward yourself later. And if you want to reward yourself, you say, okay, well, I want to reach this goal. When I reach this goal, I'm going to reward myself with this.
Right.
I'm going to buy myself this much. When I started this office, I said, until I wanted a Mercedes car, and I wanted a convertible. I said, okay, well, I want it, I like it, I can afford it, but I said, I'm not going to buy it until I reach this level. I want to have at least 100 productive agents in the office, and when I do, I'll reward myself.
I love it.
So I have to hit that target in order for me to get this. So you know, the goal should pull you toward it, and there should be pain if you don't achieve it.
A goal, plan of action, and then take action. And you said measure your achievements, right?
And you know, if your goal is significant enough, with those achievements or the progress that you're making, it's going to make you feel so good.
Right.
Where am I? And look at where am I today?
Right. Before we end, is there anything else that you want to close out with or say?
Well, I want to thank you, Tom, for having this interview. It's really a genuine interview. We did not prepare for it. It's from the heart. And I am proud of you and the success that you've had.
Thank you.
Keep on the same path. And I cannot wait to see what the future is going to look like for you.
Awesome.
You're an amazing realtor. You're an amazing friend.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but great success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. We love having you here.
Thank you.
This again is Sam Roffe, incredible person and incredible mentor in my life. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It will definitely influence and encourage other people that you know. You could also follow me on Instagram. I am Tom Paul, and Palauskas Realty. Both of those are on Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook at Palauskas Realty. You can also find us on LinkedIn. Check for it all. Also, you can go to my website, www.tompaul.info. Thanks for being with us again. We loved having Sam here, and you guys have a great day.